Hi, Sandy.
Hi, it's Dave.
Hi, it's Kirk.
Welcome to the ADK Rock and Metal channel. And today we are doing a breakdown, dissection, pulling it apart of System of a Down and BYOB, which stands for Bring Your Own Bombs. And it's their protest song of the Iraq War. They've been around since 1994, Armenian-American cross metal band. BYOB came out in 2005, and probably it's one of their most well-known songs. Along with things like Ariel's Toxicity, and of course their most well-known song, which is Chop Suey, I would say. I don't think you could dispute that is probably their most well-known song. The way we've done it, we've watched this video ahead of time, so we've actually gone away and dissected this ourselves. We've had time to have a think about what we want to talk about, and we've broken it into 1 minute blocks for you. So we're going to play you a minute at a time, and after each minute, we'll talk about those sections. So here is the first minute of the song for you at home. Okay, so the first minute of System of a Down. System of a Down is always going to be a bit out there. They're just nuts. I mean, anyone that the first song I ever heard of theirs was Sugar, and that's just weird. But that first riff, it's just an intense riff, and then when it kicks in and they all go just off on one, it's just phenomenal. This is where I started reading my note, and I'm like, huh? Oh, it's that bit. It's like, it's just like, what the fuck's that about? But it's System of a Down.
Is that in this track? Or was that a different song?
It is on this one, yeah.
Yeah, it's because the vocals follow it's like a pinch harmonic with a whammy bar effect, isn't it? And the vocals follow it.
Yeah, the chorus kicks in at the minute mark, so that kicks in at the next section. But basically, the whole part of this, we've got catchy groove metal, we've got off the wall. I mean, it's one of those ones that when we've talked about Maximum the Hormone as well from the Asian metal, I've referred to System of a Down as a good comparison because there isn't really with System of a Down a standardized verse chorus song structure. They're always off the wall, and I think they write with that in mind. They don't try to stick to sort of the standard boundaries. But I think that was the bit that before you get to the chorus, that la 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 la. That was the bit everyone was talking about after when it first came out, because everyone's like, that just sounds so strange. What the hell is going on here? But Andy, thoughts?
I've just got some general points about the whole video because I haven't broken it down necessarily in time sections. But yeah, this is I think probably my favourite System of a Down song. I'm not a fan. I do know the ones that you run through that everybody knows from like music videos, but this is the one I like the best. But yeah, you're absolutely right. There's no sort of regular song structure with these guys. They do throw in various off the wall kind of vocal deliveries. I mean, sometimes the lyrics are verging on the ridiculous, but there's always a sort of strong message behind the song, and this one's sort of fairly obvious as you described. But yeah, I don't know what category these guys fall into, but they're almost unique in as much. I can't think of anybody who sort of replicates their sound and their approach to the songs. I've got an album which probably needs more airplay, but again, it's one of these bands that everyone likes, everyone knows, and are very, very popular. But I need to sort of delve in a bit further.
I think that, like, when we talk about categories, you kind of go, there are certain bands that have their own category and sit alone. So System of a Down have their own category. You could say, well, you'd throw loads of different categories and say, well, they're a bit of all of these bands, all of these different genres are in their style. But they rather than giving them like 10 different titles, you just go, look, they're on their own. Primus is another band that I would go, they have their own sound. You can't really put Primus with anyone else because no one else does what Primus kind of does. So they're the two bands. And there's a lot, everyone else you can kind of go, well, they fit into some other genre, but these two bands just don't. But Kirk?
Yeah, I was going to mention Primus. Primus and Mr. Bungle do something similar, but I don't think System of a Down rip them off in any way. They're also influenced by the Dead Kennedys. This is like a thrash metal song with Jello Biafra of the Dead Kennedys and some of the like humor in there as well. But like you said, very serious political message. You know, why do they always send the poor? For example, is it in the first minute where we get that tempo change? It is, yeah. Still your feet as lies from the tablecloth. That is a superb transition, which leads into the chorus, which we'll cover in the next part. I always think with these, I underappreciated them at the time. They're not a new metal band, but clearly they were selling so many records and it helped that new metal was popular. This has got 477 million views on YouTube at the time. From the album Mesmerize, it sold 400,000 copies in the first week of its release, which is incredible.
Yeah.
So do you know, it passed me by, the song. I don't know how I missed it. I honestly haven't heard it until now. I wasn't really listening to as much metal in 2005. I took a bit of a break and I'd gone into that where it's like, okay, I'll listen to Megadeth and Pantera. I'm not interested in anything new. And it took me a few years to get out of that. So System of a Down passed me by. I do remember the first album and Sugar, and that was huge. That they were like the up and coming band of the late 90s because of that album. And hence when Chop Suey came out on MTV2, that was just revolution, wasn't it? Everyone was waiting for it and they delivered on that song as well. And to me, this is even better than Chop Suey.
Okay, let's go to minute 1 to minute 2 for you at home.
Dancing in the desert, blowing up the sunshine. Kneeling roses disappearing into Moses' dry mouth, breaking into Fort Knox, stealing our intentions. Anger sitting gripped in oil, crying freedom. And the two of salvation, still you feed us lies from the tablecloth. La 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 la. Everybody's going to the party, have a real good time. Dancing in the desert, blowing up the sunshine.
Okay, so we've got the chorus. Now, the chorus is just so catchy on this song. And I also want to talk about like the visuals at this point. The fact you've gone from the street outside where it's all, they're doing this quite intense part. And now they're in this thing. And I can't pronounce his name. Is it Serge?
Yeah.
On vocals. And you just see him, he's just like bopping and he's vibing. I'm like, this is such a cool transition. And I actually find every time I see this bit, we've got this where you've got this kind of bouncy vibe riff going on there. And the harmonized vocals as well. You've got these two guys singing these lovely harmonizations. You do naturally find yourself bopping along. Your head starts doing it and you start swaying. And you're like, this is really cool. I really like this. And of course, you still get the la 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 la. I love. There's just so much going on in this. And then you switch back out to the verses again, which is again, it's another song like we talked about on Suicide Tendencies, where they don't naturally. If you listen to them separately, you go, these shouldn't really work, but it's so interesting that they do. Andy.
Yeah, that's a good point about the transition between sort of like the sort of harmonized vocals where it just you just sort of relax in your chair and think, yeah, and then it's sort of back to the sort of intense verse. But I'm going to talk about in the sort of next section where it goes from the harmonized vocals, the second time round, because that's very, very interesting and a real sort of standout moment on this song.
Yeah. Kirk?
Yeah, Sergi's good friends with Mike Patton, and the chorus here is Pop Genius, Raise Your Glass. It kind of like if Mike Patton was to cover Justin Timberlake around this era, this is what it would sound like. Serge here, the way he delivers it is sensational. I mean, this is about as good as it gets to have a heavy song with a genius pop chorus, which is one of the most difficult things to do in this form of music. So yeah, that's what caught me. It's got soul, it's got groove. It's remarkable, this part.
Okay, let's play the next minutes. This is minute 2 to minute 3 for you back at home.
Everybody's going to the party, have a real good time. Dancing in the desert, blowing up the sunshine. Blast off! It's party time! And we don't live in a fascist nation! Blast off! It's party time! And where the fuck are you? Where the fuck are you? Where the fuck are you? Why don't brothers fight the war? Why do you always send the poor? Why don't brothers fight the war? Why do you always send the poor? 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 Healing roses disappearing into Moses' dry mouth, breaking into Fort Knox, stealing our intentions, and considering.
Okay, so do you know one of the things that stood out for me when I was watching this was considering there's been a lot of since these times, there's been a lot that's come out about the band and about how they work or they've struggled to work together, etc., stuff like that. But when you watch them, the amount of smiles, especially on Serge's face, he's just like he's performing and you're like, you're loving this. He's such in the groove. Everyone's like, this is such a, and he's because he's singing that song, the lyric where like everyone's going to the party, have a real good time, and he's just vibing. You're like, this is cool. I want to be at that party. I want to go to that. That's where I want to be at that moment. And it's all again the harmonies, and then we just get this midsection where it just drops, and this is just pure punk, hardcore, intense. And again, it just comes out of nowhere. If you did not know it was coming, if you never heard this song, and I'm sure obviously the first time everyone heard it, you've got this chorus, it's all harmonizing. Oh yeah, this is party, and there's like blast off, it's party time. I was like, what the fuck is happening right now? And then they start screaming over each other. I was like, fucking amazing, Andy.
Yeah, that's exactly what I've written. You know, that sort of it came out of nowhere. You got the chilled party time, harmonized vocals, and then the guitarist takes over and shouts off, blast off. And again, the message about their views on this particular subject. You know, they think they live in a fascist nation, and then they all join. Certainly the guitarist and Serge Tankin join in with the rant of where the fuck are you? I know they're very, very angry about this particular situation and have written a song about it, which has stood the test of time, and we're still talking about it today.
Yeah, it's a very sarcastic song, this, and they are a band that do employ sarcasm for a serious political message. I think that part where he says "blast off, Darren," and it goes into hardcore punk. It's a bit of a cliche. That it almost seems like a band imitating a hardcore band, you know, by doing that. But it's a good change in direction, and it gives the song exactly what it needs as well, though, which is kind of keeping you confused, isn't it? Which they like doing, and it surprised me that, yeah. And I always think back when I went to see Dillinger Escape Plan in 2001 in Liverpool, and they were touring with System of a Down at the time, you know, doing all the stadiums, and then they did the show at Liverpool University. I remember meeting the band and saying, "Oh, why are you supporting System of a Down? That's like a sellout. They're a new metal band." And it just shows the stupidity of my mind where I was at in 2001. This is great music. You know, this really is the band that filled the void after Faith No More split. And I didn't really appreciate that at the time. And obviously I don't need to apologize. I'm a fucking nobody. But I really regret the way that I looked to them at the time, because
I'm gonna get that on a t-shirt for you.
Yeah, because this is great music, isn't it? It really is. It's fresh. It's keeping you guessing. It's got a serious political message, yet you can vibe to it as well. It's fantastic. It really is. I don't know why I overlooked these or why I was so against them. They're not a new metal band. I said Dead Kennedys, thrash metal, Primus. There's so much in here that I like.
Okay, let's play the last 3 minutes to 4 minutes 22 for you at home.
Crying freedom! desert, blowing up the sunshine. Well, everybody's going to the party, have a real good time. Dancing in the desert, blowing up the sun. Where the fuck are you? Where the fuck are you? Why don't presidents fight the war? Why do they always send the poor? Why don't presidents fight the war? Why do they always send the poor? 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 They always send the poor. They always send the poor.
Okay, so that's it. That's the end of the song. So it is that last minute and a half, give or take, is just so frantic. There is so many section changes. It's almost like it's like the greatest hits of the song before, isn't it? It's like they've taken the previous 3 and a bit minutes or whatever it is, and they've gone, right, we're going to take a bit of every part of that and we're going to throw it all at you in different sections, rapid fire. And we're just going to batter you and beat home the actual the story to you, because you've got that groove chorus, you've got the intensity, and then you've got that last riff. Why do you always start on what? And it's like bounce. It's like pogoing at that point. You want to kind of see people. If you could pogo that speed at that speed, I mean, it's 3 songs smashed into one. And I love listening to System of a Down, but for me, System of a Down is almost one of those ones where you put a playlist together and you're like, I need to grab like 1 or 2 System of a Down songs to put in to break up the rest of it, because everything else is kind of standardized and your brain can just naturally flow with it. And then you need a System of a Down one to just throw you out and just go off one. Because when you listen to a System of a Down from start to finish, it's like going to the gym for 5 hours. It's absolutely exhausting because they just do so many different things. So you almost want to cherry pick them. It's a band's completely designed for the streaming generation nowadays, which is weird because they were all pre-streaming. But Andy, what's your thoughts to wrap us up?
Yeah, that last sort of minute or so, you're absolutely right. They've taken the best sort of sections of each part of the song and then sort of diced them up and sort of put them in rapid succession, as you rightly said, which again is an unusual songwriting technique, and is what makes this band sort of stand out and are so memorable. And as you say, don't fit in any genre. They are standalone along with some other bands you mentioned. But yeah, really good track, really good video, strong message, and it's clear what they think of what was going on at the time.
Kirk?
These were America's biggest metal band at the time, weren't they? If they were to put an album out now, I know the industry's changed so much because it's not about physical unit sales, is it? But if they'd have continued and putting albums out every 3 years, they would have just been like Metallica, every album multi-platinum. They'd already built that audience and people were staying with them, weren't they? And they were getting new fans. So it'd be interesting to really know, did Surge fall out of love with this type of music? What prevented them from continuing? Because they'd already reached the very top. You couldn't really go any higher. And they could have sustained that. And the message at the end, why do they always send the poor? These and Lamb of God with that song, Now You've Got Something to Die For, really captured that protest message of the time, didn't it? About the invasion of Iraq. And this band, I've not actually listened to this album. I'm feeling that I need to get it, on my playlist next time I'm out doing a countryside walk, mesmerized, because if it's like this, I will definitely enjoy it.
There we go. That was System of a Down and Bring Your Own Bombs, or BYOB. If you enjoyed the video today, please do like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you on the video sometime very soon. Take care.